Hello first year, we are going to have a look at multiplying negative numbers in this video. Okay, so we are going to start off with what I hope is something fairly straightforward, and then we will have a look and see if we can decide just by looking at these patterns what we think the rule might be that kind of drives the behavior of negative numbers. I've said to you quite a few times that negative numbers are really, really important because they come up again and again and again, and they come up throughout lots of different questions in maths. Okay, so like your times tables, it's really worth making sure that you've taken time to get to know how negative numbers behave and that you've really practiced with that. Because if you don't, it can cause you lots of problems further up the school. Okay, and there's really only a few rules that you need to kind of know how it behaves, how they behave. Once you remember those, you're able to handle negative numbers without any problem. Practice makes perfect though, okay? It's new stuff, you haven't done it before, so you're going to have to do a bit of practice to make sure that it sticks. Okay, so let's have a little look here. We've got 3 multiplied by 3. I'm just looking at this first column here, so I'm working down this row here. 3 multiplied by 3. Hope we all know 9, no problem there. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So far so good, yeah. Just our 3 times table. 3 times 0, anything multiplied by 0 is 0, isn't it? Now let's just have a look at this next one. This next one is 3 times 1. Well, 3 times negative 1, isn't it? We're looking at 3 multiplied by negative 1. Now we've already said that 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. So it couldn't possibly be the case that 3 times negative 1 would also be 3. That just doesn't make any sense, does it? It's got to be different in some way. So how can it possibly be different? Well, it could be a negative 3, couldn't it? And I bet some of you are saying that, thinking that. It's going to be negative 3. Yeah. Now here we've got 3 times negative 2, and we've already done 3 times 2. Well, that was 6. So 3 times negative 2 can't also be 6. So it's got to be negative 6. And then 3 times negative 3, I think you're probably spotting the pattern now, is negative 9. Let's just have a look at what's happening here. That's going down by 3, isn't it? Going down by 3, and that's going down by 3. And then actually all we've done here is continue the pattern, haven't we? We're going down by 3 each time, okay? Which is great. So that's all working fine for us. Let's have a look at this next one over here. Can we get a rule from that? Before we look at the next column, let's just see if we think we can work out what's going on here. That looks like, so we've got a positive number times a positive number, positive answer. Positive number times a positive number, positive answer. Positive number times positive answer, number positive answer. Positive, positive, positive. Well, 0 is neutral, isn't it? What about here? Positive number times negative number, negative answer. Positive number times negative number, negative answer. Positive number times negative number, negative answer. So that looks to me like we have a positive number multiplied by a negative number gives a negative answer. Okay, so a positive number multiplied by a negative number gives a negative answer. Okay, so in other words, we could write positive multiplied by negative is going to give you a negative solution or a negative answer. Okay, so important thing to remember. Right, let's have a look at this other one. Let's just change our color here a little bit. So we've got negative 3 times 3. Well, we've just finished saying that a positive multiplied by a negative gives us a negative answer. So in this case, we've got a negative multiplied by a positive. Remember, when we do multiplication in maths, the order of things doesn't actually matter. So a negative times a positive is going to give us negative 9. Negative 3 times 2, well, that's a negative times a positive, so I know my answer is negative. And I also know that 2 times 3 is 6. Here I've got a negative times a positive, so I know my answer is going to be negative. And I know that 1 times 3 is 3. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Now 0 never gets a negative sign, okay? 0 is always just written as the number 0, okay? Now, what's next? We've got negative number times negative number. Well, let's just have a look. We've got negative 3 times positive 1 gives us negative 3. We've now got negative 3 times negative 1. Couldn't be negative 3 because there's no way that there is going to be the same as that there because they're different, aren't they? And the only way we could make those different is if we make our answer positive. Right? Now let's just see if that follows the pattern that we think that it should. How do we go from negative 9 to negative 6? We add 3, don't we? We go up 3 places. How do we go from negative 6 to negative 3? Same again, add 3 places. How do we go from negative 3 to 0? Add 3 places. How do we go from 0 to 3? Add 3 places. What do we think is going to happen next? Negative 3 times negative 2. Well, again, up here we've done negative 3 times positive 2. This time we've got negative 3 times negative 2. The answer can't be the same as negative 6. The only way to make that different is to make it positive 6. Does that follow the same pattern? 3 plus 3? Oh yes, it does. And last but not least, I hope you can spot it, is going to be 9. Alright, and again, we've added 3 there, haven't we? So we've gone up the way. Alright, so that's how that's all hung together. Now, can we spot a rule for these ones? Well, let's have a look. We've got negative times negative, positive answer. Negative number times negative number, positive answer. Negative number times negative number, positive answer. So I'm going to shorthand this one and I'm going to say we're going to have a negative multiplied by a negative number is going to give you a positive answer. Okay, so a negative multiplied by a negative is going to give you a positive answer. Now it goes without saying that if you've got two positive numbers, like let's just say 3 times 2, you know the answer is going to be 6. That's not any different to what you've done before. The two new bits are where you have positive times negative. Okay, now remember the order doesn't matter. So it could be, you might also get a negative times a positive, that doesn't matter. Okay, the order does not matter at all, it gets you the same result. If you've got one positive number and one negative number multiplying, you're going to get a negative answer. If you've got two negative numbers multiplying, you're going to get a positive answer. So let's just have a look at a few examples. We're going to look at 4 and 5 multiplying. Okay, now I hope we know that 4 times 5 is 20, so I'm not going to mess around with the numbers, but let's just have a look at 4 multiplied by negative 5. Okay, hopefully you're looking at that going positive number multiplied by negative. That means we're going to have a negative answer. And we know that 4 times 5 is 20. So look at the way I dealt with that. I thought first of all about what my answer was going to be, positive or negative, and then I thought what the numbers would be. What about if that was the other way around? Let's just say it was negative 4 times 5. Well, we've already said the order is not important. We've got one negative number, one positive number, so I know that my answer is going to be negative, and I know that 4 times 5 is just 20. Last little example, negative 4 times negative 5. I've got a negative multiplying a negative. Now, according to my rule, my answer is going to be positive, so that's great. And I know that 4 times 5 is 20. Okay. Remember, with positive numbers, we don't actually write the plus sign. Okay. We don't do that. We just leave it out. There's no need for the plus sign there at all. Okay, so it's just the 20. All right, I hope you can see how that hangs together and how that works. There is another wee twist in a couple of the examples where you have a third number. So you might have something like 4 times negative 5 times 2. The way to deal with this is to split the sum up into two other sums. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to deal with 4 times negative 5. All right. Now we've just done 4 times negative 5 above, but we know that gives us negative 20. And then we just multiply that by 2. Okay. And that will give us positive number multiplying a negative number. So my answer is going to be negative. And I know that 2 times 20 is 40. Okay. Other way this could go, let's do 4 times negative 5 times negative 2. All right, so again, we're going to split that down. We're going to do this bit first. 4 times negative 5, we know is negative 20. Positive times a negative, negative answer. 4 times 5 is 20. And then we multiply that by negative 2. Two negatives multiplying means I'm going to get a positive answer. And I know that 2 times 20 is 40. Okay, last possible variation. Negative 4 times negative 5 times negative 2. Let's have a look and see what happens. Again, let's deal with this first bit of the calculation first. Then we'll deal with the next bit. What's negative 4 times negative 5? Two negatives multiplying together gives me a positive answer. 4 times 5 is 20, so that's 20 times negative 2. Now I've got a positive multiplying a negative, two different signs, so that's going to give me a negative answer. And I know that 2 times 20 is 40. So when you encounter examples where you've got three, maybe you could even do that, like that could continue, couldn't it? There could be 4 numbers, 5 numbers, 6 numbers. Just break it down into smaller sums that you can do. Okay, don't try and do it all at once. Take your time with it. Okay, I know that's new. All right, negative numbers are new. You've probably not done a lot of that at primary school. The really important thing that I really want you to remember are these bits here. Okay, this stuff is really crucial. Okay, if you can remember this, that will be really helpful to you as you move up the school. And you need to know these rules as you work through your questions today. Please take your time, okay, and be consistent in your application of these rules and how they behave. That's the key thing. You need to apply these rules consistently. If you made any mistakes or you haven't looked at your feedback from adding and subtracting negative numbers, please go back and do that. Okay, there were very few people who got them absolutely correct. There was mistakes in there. I'm not surprised by that because it is new and you're learning how to deal with it, but it's really important that you get it straight in your head how things behave. I will probably put a video out later in the week that just covers some of the common mistakes from that previous piece of work. If you need any help, give me a shout. I'm available to you guys on Thursday between break and lunch, and again on Friday morning. There'll be another video showing you how to divide negative numbers. That video will be shorter because they behave in very, very similar ways. It's just going to be division instead of multiplication. All right.